Let's go. All right.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode.
Good morning, you beautiful people. Welcome back. So it's Tuesday morning. A very eventful day today for me and Lynn as gamers. Lynn for Fortnite. She has her Halloween event jumping off today.
Yeah.
Same for me with Destiny. So we're kind of
I'm
excited.
definitely gonna jump on as soon as we're done streaming. Like same setup and everything. I'm just gonna switch right over.
So why don't you stream yourself playing Fortnite?
I honestly I feel like in order to be like a streamer that like gains any kind of following or anything, I guess that's why I'm worried about it. I'm like, oh, why am I gonna like build this and like create a following when I don't play consistently? Like I play here and there. I've been playing a lot like the last 2 weeks, but then it's been like 2 months since I played. So she's not consistent with it. I do it more as like a hobby.
You never know, but like, what if you like start and then all of a sudden, bam, all these people are like following you and shit. Then you're like, damn, I should keep doing it. You're like motivated to be consistent.
That's true. I don't know. Haven't really thought about it. I did. I used to live stream like the projects I do in the house, but it was more of like just chatting on Twitch. And yeah, I just stopped. I don't know.
You gotta be careful.
I think Twitch, the most consistency I've like shown has been with this channel here.
Really? With this? You've been consistent with this? As she says that, come next week, she's done. She's like, oh, wait, where did it go?
So I tend to be like a jack of all trades. You know, I like trying new things. And I usually kill it. I do really good. And then once I finish that thing, I'm like, you know what? I don't want to do it again. I don't want to keep doing this. I just thought it was cool for me to do it once. So
just do it once.
Yeah.
Except for your house.
Found, like, the thing
except for Lynn's house, because Lynn's house, she's always redoing it. That's the one thing she's constantly just changing. Like your house could be a YouTube channel because you have so much content because you're constantly changing your house. Like she had this wonderful like backyard and now it's just in shambles because she's like, nope, changing it up.
Change it up.
I was like, okay.
Yeah.
But you know, being my sister, she's just like me, a procrastinator. So it's still in shambles. It's gonna be like that all winter long.
It will. Maybe in the spring, I'll be like, hey, let me get out into my backyard.
That's exactly what I said. Like as soon as it starts being spring, like, oh, I should get this ready for summer.
Yeah.
Then she'll be rushing through, and then by next fall, she's gonna be like, "Yeah, we kind of cut corners on here and here, and I got to redo it again."
Yeah, so I built a whole pergola in my backyard, and I had like lights strung all on it, and it looked really nice.
It had that island vibe to it. Because she used the tin roof and everything, and it just had that island vibe to it. But then she just like tore it down. I came in one day and I was like, "What do you do?"
Like I really didn't like the tin roof, so now I'm gonna repurpose the tin. I'm gonna build.
You didn't like the tin roof?
Flower beds. Oh, I didn't.
Why?
It was annoying, and you know what? The only people who heard it at night when it was raining were my children, because that's like their windows were above it. I was too far. I wasn't enjoying it, and yeah, it was just annoying. I really didn't like it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was dope.
So I'm gonna spray paint them because I don't like just like the tin look. It just looks cheesy. I'm gonna spray paint them and I'm gonna build raised flower beds in the spring. Start a garden.
Okay. Hey, more power to you. It'll be interesting when I come one day and I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh, look at all this
now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Tell you, she nailed it. She had the furniture out there. She even has one of those heaters, like one of those heaters from like the places where they have the heaters outside.
I have two of
Really
those.
foo-foo heaters. That's crazy. I was like, when are you gonna be out here when it's cold?
No, but you know what? When I do turn them on, they're nice. They keep the area warm. Even though it's like an open
hammock out
space,
there,
it keeps
man.
it warm.
It was legit. It was legit, and I'm like, yo, you tore this all down. Like, I don't get it, but hey, I do like her grill though. Don't mess with that. That's a really
no.
nice
And the grill, you know what? It was built in that way, and that's exactly the way I want to keep it.
All right, don't mess with that.
Yeah, so my grill has like a crank, like the wheel that you turn for it to like come up and then go back down. It's nice and big. I put all kind of food on there. It's great.
So I guess the grilling debate, we got to answer it. Gas or coals? Which one's the better one?
Ooh, I love a charcoal grill.
Me too.
I love it.
But people swear up and down you need a gas grill. I'm like, seriously? Like it's just you can taste the gas. I
think if you have like for me, I have a charcoal grill, so I think if the opportunity arose for me to get a add a gas grill, I wouldn't mind having two grills. But to only have a gas grill, like, what are you doing? You're just cooking outside.
No. Yeah, exactly. You're just cooking outside. No.
Yeah, what are you doing?
I like the charcoal grill. I mean, I know it's more cumbersome and it's more messy and all that, but it just gives it a better taste. Mm-hmm. Just like you can taste it, like, oh, it tastes good. I don't know.
I have this memory of when I was pregnant with Rico, I was living in, an apartment complex.
No, you gotta stop saying names. What are you doing? My youngest.
Well, that's not even his real name. That's
the crazies are coming.
So, I was pregnant with him and I really wanted a grilled burger. So I pulled out my grill and I used a shovel and I made like a little hole in the snow so I could like put it a little further from my house. And sure enough, I fired up my charcoal grill in the dead of winter. I had earmuffs on. I was freezing, but I really wanted to, have some grilled food. And
you could do that this winter, right? Because you got those two heaters out there. It'll feel like it's
true.
freaking 80 degrees
like, oh, it's nice out here. I'm grilling.
I can't believe you got those heaters. I'm gonna keep ragging on you for that. That's crazy that you have it. Well, anyway, Lynn, like we just started the show. We just started, shooting the shit, and we didn't introduce the show. So let's introduce the show as we got some followers.
Welcome to the couch show.
We got some eyeballs on us right now.
Welcome to the couch show, and welcome to our channel, Sibling Rivalry. I'm Lynn. This is Ray. We're siblings, and we come on here through this platform. We aim to just be givers. We're givers of love, we're givers of good vibes, and we're givers of strength through conversation. We like to talk and just have like political banter or any kind of banter. Really, we talk about movies. We talk about dating.
Yeah, there's nothing off limits with our show.
Yeah, so if there's any topics that you guys want to talk about, feel free to throw that in the chat and we'll talk about it.
Just to throw this out there, we are using, what are we using? StreamYards. We are using StreamYards. So we do have, a link. If anybody wants to jump on and chat with us, you don't have to show your face. I actually, suggest not to show your face, use a fake name or whatever, and just jump on and just chat with us. We'd love to hear from you guys, some of you guys. So, Lynn dropped the link.
Put the link in the chat. Right. So if you want to,
I didn't get to see Mom's comment. You moved Mom's comment real quick.
She said, "Good morning, my dear children. I'm watching the show. I love you guys very much."
I love you too, Mom. Thank you for always supporting us and watching us, even though she's always like, "Man, these two always coming with some harebrained schemes."
It's funny. We were talking about robots yesterday, so I picked mine up, and I was car shopping, and we were talking about robots. She was like, "Oh, the other day you guys were talking about me that I would pour water on my robot." She's like, "I wouldn't do that to my robot." I was like, "No, Ma, I meant like when the robot starts like telling you what to do, you're gonna get angry with this robot and you're gonna try to shut him down, and you won't be able to, so you'll pour some water on him." And then she laughed. Oh, she was like, no, I'm not gonna do that to my robot.
She doesn't want the robot though. After we saw the Megan trailer, she was like, "No, I'm good." She was like, "I'm good."
My youngest was in the car. He said that he does want a robot. He said he wants a robot so I could cook, so I can clean, and so I could go to school for him and then come home and teach him what he learned in school.
So after we saw that episode, we saw the Megan trailer, and we're like, damn, all robots are trying to kill you. I kind of went back and I was like, you know what though? We're all gotta die sometimes. So I'm like, our ends. Our ends
That's a
is,
way to go.
somewhere a way to go. Yeah, I might as well have the robot cooking and cleaning, and it murks me.
Hey,
All right,
Tris,
cool.
welcome to the stream.
Welcome back, Tris. Thank you, brother. Thank you for supporting us. Always coming in. Thank you. So much love. So
I have another good one about my youngest. So I was also talking about I have an appointment to have my wisdom teeth taken out. Now
you haven't done that yet?
No, like they came in late. So like they're telling me now, like they've scheduled me. I have to get my wisdom teeth pulled. And my youngest is in the back, and he's like, wait, if they're taking out your wisdom teeth, does that mean you're not going to be smart anymore?
You won't be done.
And, so I had to explain that to him. Like, no, that's not what it means. But good on him to, like, connect that,
I don't
understood the word wisdom.
To be honest with you, though, I do think that those teeth serve a purpose. I don't understand why we take them out. Especially when the first teeth that's always, goes when you have like cavities and then you got like fillings and crowns and all that shit are those teeth right there. So I really do think that if anything, we should be taking out those teeth and then let the wisdom teeth come in. But that's just me. I know it comes out crooked and stuff, and everybody's like, "Oh, those are extra teeth." I don't think so, man. I think they were there for a purpose.
I said no robot for her. Thank you.
Yeah, she also said that about no laundry, no washing machine in her house. And look, she has
right. And
so you never know. You're getting a robot.
Yep.
All right, man. So should we get into the show?
Let's do it.
Get into the topics. Let's talk about some of these topics.
Is he crazy?
So did you do any research on this when I sent you the link? Did you do anything with
so you sent me, you were like, oh,
Kanye?
is he crazy? I was like, he as in you? Like, are you asking if I'm crazy? Are we gonna talk
I know
about
you're crazy.
People crazy? I was a little confused.
I know you're crazy. I don't need to go into a whole 2-hour show about you being crazy.
Then after you like made the connection for me, I was like, oh, is Ye crazy? Because it's not even
he legally changed his name, so he's not Kanye no more.
He's just Ye.
Ye.
Yay. Because it's the end of Kanye, so just Ye.
Kanye, right.
It's when Jennifer Lopez went over to J-Lo. Everyone does
because his like shoe brand is the Yeezys, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I guess when you add the extra E, you say it differently. But no, like there's been a big hoopla about him. So last week, I don't know if it was last week or the week before. It's all running into my head. But him and like your girl, Candace Owens.
Mm-hmm.
They were at a fashion show and they had the White Lives Matter shirt and everybody started losing their shit about it, right?
Yeah.
And he was like, yo, I'm doing this because, BLM is a fraud. And we went over on how, they're being brought up on charges and there's so much how they've been hoarding all this money and they haven't really been giving back to the community, right? Mm-hmm. So, he has the shirts and they were going to start going out. Merchandise wise, he was to start selling the shirts and people, like, yo, leave Ye alone. He's not crazy, blah, blah, blah. Mind you, this all happened before. This happened like a few years ago when he went on SNL and he came out saying like, look, I don't think he's crazy, to be honest with you. I just think he took the red pill and he's waking up to things and he's just overexcited about it. And he just doesn't know how to say it the right way. And, especially when he's a billionaire, he's famous, it's Kanye. And so when he comes out and says all these things and he's not prepared to say it, like he doesn't have the right way he doesn't have the cliff notes on his ideas, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody's like, oh, they know how to take things out of context and they make you look bad, especially when you're attacking the establishment, when you're going against the agenda, the narrative, right? That's how they're going to like tear you apart. But I don't think there's anything he said back when he was on SNL that was off key. They just made him look like, oh my God, he's just crazy. He snapped, right?
Honestly, it's all part of the indoctrination. Like our children, like even us, we were taught through school that it's either right or wrong. This damn cat just scratched me.
Yo, you keep hitting that cat on the freaking show. We're gonna get
I think he's like
animal abuse.
Man, that shit hurt.
Animal abuse.
Damn it. Like I feel like we were taught like there's only the right way and then there's a wrong way. It's always black and white for us. So I feel like him coming out and speaking and saying what's on his mind, because it doesn't go with the narrative, everyone is brushing him off as, oh, he's crazy, he's wrong. You know, we don't have an open-minded society that can sit here and, you know, listen to what he has to say and, you know, take it for what it is, or, you know, begin to evolve their own trail of thought. Like, that's just not what we have.
Well, we'll go into it more because there's more details coming out. So, so he started going around. You know, it's Kanye, so everybody wants to talk to him, right? So he did this one show, and I believe it was for HBO. And they after he did the show, they were like, "We're not going to air it."
Okay.
So then he went and did another show, and he did it was like a podcast from Noriega. You know, Nori from back in the day. So Nori has a podcast, and he went on there. He was on that podcast for 3 hours. He talked to Nori for 3 hours, and you know they had the confidence to put it out there until the backlash started coming out. And so then Nori pulled down the podcast. So this is where I got pulled in, because I was hearing all that stuff, and you know me, I just hear the headlines, and I was like, I'm not really going to get into it until I heard him pull it down.
Right.
And then that's when I started going, you know, on the internet. Of course, the internet always remembers, right? And so I found it, and I started listening to it, and I'm about halfway in, and there's nothing that I heard that was so egregious for him to have to like take it down and bow to, you know, the powers to be. Now, once again, when he started saying all the stuff about BLM, yeah, people came out, but it didn't come out as hard as when he went after a certain category of people, let's say. Because I'm going to dance around this, because once again, you know who's in charge when you can't say bad things about them.
Right.
And I've seen this happen before with a couple of YouTubers out here that I would watch, and they would say some egregious things, and the second they attacked a certain set of people, their YouTube channel was done. It was gone. So I'm not going to make any attacks. I'm just going to make observations today, right? I'm going to talk in ways of like, you know, maybe when you see a certain article, look at the journalist, research that journalist, see what their background is. There's certain trends that are coming, and maybe it's just you know, what they call maybe it's just a stereotype, and I don't want to play into that. But it is kind of coincidentally that all this stuff aligns that certain way, and that's what Kanye is trying to talk about. He's like, listen, we got black artists out here. That was one of the things he said. He's like, yo, we got black artists out here who is instantly, when they start to make it big, they're given a certain type of manager, right? They're given a certain type of agent, right? That it's all tied to this. It's like, isn't that kind of like coincidence? Like, why is it like listen, they're all part of Hollywood, which is funny because there's a TV show, which I just recently, you know, got back into it because it's a really good show. It was on HBO. It's called Entourage, right?
Okay.
And the whole have you ever saw the show?
I didn't watch it, but I saw like clips and stuff.
But regardless, I'll give you the background of the show. It's so it's a kid from New York, Brooklyn. I think he's like from Queens or Brooklyn, right? And he makes it big in Hollywood, right? So he ends up being this big movie star, but it's called Entourage because he brings all his like childhood friend and his brother, and they all, you know, they live in the house together and they go on set together, and it's just, you know, him and his buddies, and that's really what the show is about. And like, I like the show because it has heart, right? Because like, oh, he doesn't forget about his friends and all that, and he doesn't forget about his agent either, because his agent was the one who kind of gave him the like kind of believed in him. And so like the agent, you know, throughout the seasons, like he becomes like almost like a best friend too. Now, Ari Gold in Entourage is the same, is in that group too, right?
Okay.
The director of one of the movies in that group. The funding for when they were looking for like a producer was in that group. And they made it a point in the show to say, look at how this group runs Hollywood. So is it coincidence, or like how is it that it's so influential? They're in banking, they're in entertainment, they're in Hollywood, they're in politics. If you look at all of pretty much Biden's picks right now, they're all part of that group. So what's going on? And when Kanye calls that out, he's just making observations. But
Right.
once again, they label him a certain thing, and they're like, "Oh, if you're this certain thing, boom."
Yeah. And honestly, like we're making those same observations too. Like around this every day, we're seeing it in, the marketing, we're seeing it in movies, we're seeing it in TV
Mm-hmm.
shows, we're seeing it even with in the news when people are trying to push it into the schools. They're
Mm-hmm.
trying to teach our children about this. Like there's a lot of areas that we're noticing it, and it is taboo. We can't say something. You're right.
Right.
Like in the stores, like our clothing is changing. Everything around this is changing. This is becoming the way of the world.
It is. It is. And like I mean, like I said, I found out the whole talk, and like Kanye wasn't filtered like I am. He went in.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, he's a billionaire, right? Good luck trying to cancel him. He was like, I think JP Morgan came out and they were like, "Hey, we're not going to bank with Kanye anymore," right? They canceled him. Mm-hmm. And he was like, "Fine, I'm going to buy a bank." He literally said, "I'm going to become a bank."
Mm-hmm.
And he has the money to do that.
Right.
So like that, and like there's people, it's crazy because there's some people who are like, they're with Kanye, they're like, Kanye's not crazy. He's speaking the truth.
Mm-hmm. That's it. You're talking about them like the Nazis were talking about the Jews.
I'm trying not to. Like I said, I'm just making observations.
Yeah.
But this is the observation that Kanye came up with, and this is the observation that a lot of people are coming up with. Do I have any kind of hatred? I don't have hatred for anybody. I'm just making the observations that Kanye came out with. And once again, when he made those observations, that's when they started coming out saying he's anti-Semitic and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm trying to like get to a point or something, no, I'm just saying, look, this is they're in banking, they're in and I get the difference too, and Kanye made the difference too. He's like, look, it's a religion and it's also a set of people, right? Mm-hmm. He said that, and he's like, I understand that certain people can be given this name and still be atheists, right? Mm-hmm. Like they don't have to be religious. So I get it. It's just a subset of people. Maybe there are more majority of people, but I don't think so. When I look at the ratios, I don't see them as a majority. I see them as a minority too. So how is it that a certain minority has such influence in so much things that are pivotal in our society? Like that's the question I raise, Like, am I saying it with hatred in my heart? No, I'm not saying it. I'm just making observations. And that's right. What Kanye was doing. And because Kanye made observations towards a certain type of people, this is why everybody's trying to cancel him. Mm-hmm. This is why Nori put that video out and then quickly backpedaled and pulled it down. Mm. And I don't think it was Nori himself. I think somebody told him, his publicist, his manager, somebody came out and was like, yo, take this shit down.
Right.
So these are like, he's putting a light on it. He's putting a light on it.
And good for him, because like clearly not everyone has the resources to do it.
But do you see how, like Trish just said, when you talk about them, talk about a certain subclass or talk about a certain, once again, they bring up the word Nazi, right? They don't want you to forget the Holocaust. And listen, Kanye pulled that out. He said, our Holocaust as Black people. He said, as Black people, our Holocaust is Planned Parenthood. Mm-hmm. He's like, the billions of lives that was lost due to Planned Parenthood. Mm-hmm. And once again, Planned Parenthood, if you look at the history of that was done by design.
Yeah.
So, once again, like I said, I'm treading lightly. I'm just putting the observation, and I'm trying to talk about what Kanye was talking about, right? Mm-hmm. But these are the things that will get you canceled in our society.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you could talk about, feminism, right? You could talk about BLM. You can even talk about LGBTQ or whatever, right? Those might get you canceled. But the second you talk about that subset, that's the second you're dead. You are dead. You can't talk about there is no discourse when it comes to that. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, why? Why is there no discourse? Like, why can't we talk about that? So, I'm curious to see what Trish's comments are, because he always has good comments. I love it. I love it, man. I love it. Like I said, I love all my viewers, man. You guys always, there's a certain way I don't think. You guys put me onto that. Like, okay, yeah. Let me see it in a different perspective.
Oh shoot! All right.
Lynn's,
Oh,
Lynn's
I
trying to be
text you.
Lynn's trying to be nice at the cat right now because she's like, oh shit, let me not get us canceled with animal abuse. Let me show that I love my cat and we're all good. Everything's
Don't mess with cats. Yeah, so I wanted to pull up a clip, but I wasn't able to find it. I'm trying to see. Do you want me to pull up the one that you texted me?
Which one? Which clip?
Oh no, that's a different conversation completely. Never mind.
That one's fun. We can go into that a little bit later, but
This one is good, yeah, but that's for later.
But no, it's yeah, no, I really wanted to go into this because it's trending. It's on Twitter. Oh, by the way, so you know how they're all coming after Kanye and they're trying to cancel him. He says he was like, look, I'm not gonna get canceled. I'm a billionaire. I can make moves, just like Elon Musk was like, yo, I'm a billionaire. I'm gonna make moves. Elon Musk's move was to buy Twitter, right? It's still up in the air if he's gonna buy it or not. They keep going back and forth. It kind of reminds me of the old Looney Tunes cartoons, where freaking Bugs Bunny and it's Daffy, right? Daffy, yeah, Daffy will go back and forth, and they'd be like, it's rabbit season, it's duck season, it's rabbit season, duck season, right? So then he'd flip the sign and he'd be like, no, it's rabbit season. And then Daffy would be like, yeah, no, it's duck season. And then he would like say the difference. That's like, I feel like that's what Elon Musk and Twitter's been doing because at one point he was like, I'm gonna buy you, and Twitter was like, no, you're not. And then he was like, okay, I'm not gonna buy you. And then Twitter's like, yes, you are. And so it's like they keep going back and forth. But I don't know where they're going with it. I don't know if he is going to buy Twitter or not. But Kanye's response to all of this was he ended up buying he said he's going to. He's in the process of it of buying Parler. So I don't know. You know what Parler is, Lynn? So Parler is like an alternative to Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like, so Trump came out with Truth Social. That's like his version. And then Parler was building up steam. I want to say like about last year, it was building up steam. And then all of a sudden, it was like a coordinated attack where Apple took it off their market. Google took it out of their store. And then they were saying like, oh, that it was pivotal in the whole January 6th thing. And which turns out that Facebook was the one that was really pivotal, but nobody takes Facebook out of its store, right? Mm-hmm. So they kind of did this coordinated attack where it kind of killed the momentum that Parler was getting. So I remember like everybody was like, yo, I'm done with, all the other social media and we're all moving to Parler, right? Mm-hmm. And so that was like, it was like really building up that steam. And then that's when they kind of killed it. Like they removed it out of the stores. I think even, Amazon was the cloud provider. And they said, we're done. We're not providing any service. And they kind of did it like abruptly too. So for like, I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks, it was just dead in the water because they had no back end servers. Mm-hmm. So they finally figured all that stuff out. They finally got onto the market. I think they might have caved because they were like, listen, we're not going to censor anybody. And they were like, well, you got to kind of censor with our guidelines, right? Mm-hmm. If you want to be back in the store. So I think they did something like that where they were like, if you want the full-on Parler experience, go on the web, right? The website, whatever. And then if you want the censored limited version, then you can use the app.
Okay.
So yeah, so then Kanye came out and he was like, well, I'm gonna buy Parler. So good on him if he's gonna really do it. Now I don't know. Like I said, I think it lost its steam once all this happened, and like you said, you know nothing about it, right? So
right.
I don't see it really picking up any steam, and maybe he's just wasting his money. But he's a billionaire, so he must know what he's doing with it, right? So we'll see.
All right. Yeah. So it's a premier global free speech app.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way it's marketed.
Unless you're on an Android or iOS device, because then it is censored.
That's so crazy. That's crazy that they even have like the capability of doing that.
Of what? Well, it's their guidelines. So it's like if Apple deems your product doesn't fall within their guidelines, then
Mm-hmm.
they're going to yank you out of the store. That's the
Mm-hmm.
reason why Apple's getting sued, and it started ironically. It started with Epic Games on
Mm-hmm.
with Fortnite, where they were like, "You have a monopoly over the store. You should be also, you should let other alternative onto your device." But they have a closed device where you can only get stuff through their store,
Mm-hmm.
unless of course you jailbreak the phone, which they say that breaks their policies and guidelines.
Right. Why are you biting me? Go away. So
Trish
I'm getting
said,
my cat neutered on Friday, and I cannot wait because he's being a little shit.
I don't know why. Yo, I don't know why Lynn has cats when you could obviously tell that she's not a cat person. She's not
Why
a
is
pet
he
person.
biting me? Why? I feed you. I scoop your poop. Leave me alone.
Because you don't understand that that's what cats do. They do that to each other. That's a form of
I'm
showing
not a
us
cat. Don't
love and
bite me.
attention and playing.
Don't bite me.
This is
My
this is
big
also
cat is
the
being
reason
pissed off
why.
too. Like my big
But
cat is like just enough with the kitten. Like leave me
but
alone.
that's also a reason why. Once again, this is also a reason why females do not understand male nature. Like
Mhm.
males do the same thing like cats and dogs do. And you're like, why are these cats and dogs fighting with each other? That's what
Yeah.
males do. That's how we express, like, oh, play fighting shit. This is why my boys will wrestle each other night and day. I'm like, do you guys ever get tired of it? Like you saw when we came over to your house, it was all the boys were there. Like these
Yep.
kids was like never wrestling, and they're like, "Oh, these guys are wrestling. I want to go wrestle," and
Everyone
they
was
did
about
it
it.
nonstop. It's like that's how it is. That's how dogs are. That's how cats are. That's just like that's the way of showing. I don't know, like bonding, and like you don't understand that. You're just, what are you doing? Be more civilized. That's hilarious.
All right. So it's also trending that U.S. men are going abroad to get a woman.
Yes. Yes, and that's one of the things that is definitely how do I put this? Actually, it's with all this stuff that we talk about on the show. It seems like it's on a fast course for correction, that makes me optimistic because I'm like, look, a lot more people are waking up to it. A lot more people are opening their eyes to it, and they're calling it out for what it is. So either a lot of whoever is driving a lot of this stuff, they're gonna start pulling it back a little bit because it's like, damn, there's resistance. They're
Mm-hmm.
not as dumb as we thought they would be, right? They're not as an NPC that we thought we feed them anything. They'll be like, yes, the sky is yellow. The
Mm-hmm.
sky is yellow. Yes, the sky is yellow. No, we're kind of pulling in resistance. Like, no, I'm looking up. No, the sky's blue. What are you talking about? So I see a lot of things starting to change and starting to give way.
Mm-hmm.
Dating is one of them. It's starting to change. Um, and of course, a lot of people are starting to go against the narratives. Like I said, there are a lot of people defending Kanye right now. And when they pulled that video down, a lot of people started seeking it. Like me, for example, when I
Mm-hmm.
saw like they pulled it down, I was like, wait a minute. It made me wanted to see like, what did he say that was so bad? What
Right.
was so egregious, right? And so then a lot of more people are doing that. And like I was saying, a lot of more people are starting to wake up to the truths that are happening. And I would have to say it's definitely this administration. If it wasn't the last one, it's like people were still blinded and they believed all the hoopla about Trump and everything. It's
Mm-hmm.
definitely this administration with the fact that they're saying, "Oh, everything's fine and everything's burning around us."
Right.
Like, "Oh, everything's fine." Like there's literally narratives going out right now that says war is okay. Like Russia's so bad, we cannot give into peace. We need to have a nuclear fallout to show Russia, have Russia learn a lesson or some shit. And I'm like, yo, you really want a nuclear fallout? You really want war? Like peace is always number one option.
Right.
Let's have talks and stuff. But because Trump came out and Elon Musk came out saying, hey, let's have peace talks, let's try to de-escalate this. That's
Mm-hmm.
where the narratives are starting to come out and say, well, peace is bad. We need to have war. We cannot be threatened by, what if another nation comes out and they want to threat, a nuclear war again? Are we going to back down and give them whatever they want? That's what they're saying. That's the narratives that are going on.
Mm-hmm.
So Going back to Jersey's comment, sorry, I went on a rant, but he said it's also the first one. He said it's also trending that U.S. men are going abroad to get a woman, and which I've been saying that. I've been saying stop going domestic if you really want a relationship, because I know a lot of guys out here, like I said, guys are more romantic than women are. As much as you guys want to believe the rom-coms and all this, I really do feel like men are more tuned and more into that whole, because that's what we heard, growing up was, that whole Cinderella story and, be the gentleman and all that. So if you really want to be devoted like that, I've been saying it for a minute, import it. Import your wife, because a domestic one is just going to ruin your life. Stats were 4 to 5K a year in the 90s to now 40 to 50K a year. 4 to 5K for what?
I'm assuming importing women.
Oh, okay. Wow. That's
yeah. Where do you even get stats like that? I'm so confused. I've never heard anything like that.
Everywhere for everything. Like I tell you, I spit out the stats. And you're looking at me like I'm crazy. Like the divorce rate stats. Like, there's even a phenomenon now because divorce is more acceptable. And like I said, women are the majority of women are the ones initiating divorces. There's now something called like the silver divorce, where they were married for like 40, 50 years. They're well into like they're in their 60s now, right? And the women are initiating divorces. I'm like, this is crazy, because at that point, I'm like, man, I wouldn't even if I didn't like the person, right? At that point, I'm like, I want somebody next to me. So I'm like, because I'm close to croaking at any minute, right? I don't want to cook alone. Like, I would just tolerate you. Like, that's crazy.
And maybe I think that's the reason why marriages lasted so long before, is because like people were more willing to tolerate the person that they chose. It wasn't that they were choosing them better.
No, once again, you're giving too much credit to the individuals. I think it was because society was frowned upon. Like divorce was such a taboo thing. Like to me, to this day, I feel icky that I had a divorce because that was programmed into me, right? So it's like it was a societal thing to say, hey, divorce is bad.
Yeah.
Now that it's more acceptable, and if anything, it's more applauded nowadays. That it's like you're gonna start seeing more and more people are gonna have divorces, or more and more women actually is gonna have divorces. Because I'll go on Reddit, like I said, I'll go on Reddit and I'll read these things, and it's like they have one argument, and the whole comments are like, "You deserve better, girl. You deserve better. You deserve better.
Yeah.
You divorce. Yeah, divorce. You deserve better." And once again, that's what I'm saying. Like, I think that's what leads into men being more romantic, is in the sense that women are told, since the day they are born, that they have purpose and they're special and all this, and men are not told that. Not in this society. No, they're not told that.
So the stats are from the U.S. immigration stats.
Yeah. Especially when you have, so there's a terminology that's really going around that's supposed to insult men. It's called incels, right? Which is it's an acronym for involuntary celibate. So it's like these are the guys, this is how society wants to insult men. It's like, oh, you can't get none, right? Once again, a hyper sexualized society that only cares about sex. So it's like it's insulting that you can't get it, right? So with these, she gets so festive. She gets festive for Halloween. Actually, no, she gets festive all year long, because even for 4th of July, she puts all the red flags and everything. She puts all the red, white, and blue everywhere. I can't even just say Halloween and Christmas. You do get like super excited when it comes to Halloween and Christmas, though. It's good though. You got kids. I like that. Freaking ghost.
I threw you completely off your thought.
You did, but it was in a good way, though. It's in a good way. What did I say? Oh yeah, so they insult men with this whole like incel terminology, right? Women are doing, they use it like crazy. Mind you, there's femcells too, and I'll talk about that in a second. But they do this, right? So what makes you think that if a guy can't date normally here, right, and then he ends up focusing, getting a good job, getting money, right? He doesn't want to be alone, but once again, this is society being freaking weird and awkward. What makes you think he's not going to go and try to find somebody who's a little more compatible with him?
Mm-hmm.
Once again, the number one thing most men want nowadays is someone who's just nice to them.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all they want. It's like, oh, I just want someone that's nice. Like, do you want her to cook, clean, or anything? No, I just want her to be nice. I got money. I could do all that other stuff. I just want somebody to be nice. So when you have, women from other parts of the world who are suffering, right, and they see a better lifestyle, and they're like, man, look at how good they have it over there. And this guy comes over, they're not going to have this laundry list of demands. They're going to be like, is he nice to me? Okay, I could be nice to him. Boom, that's it. Now, of course, and this is what I warned you guys with too, they do eventually get domesticated. And when they find out that they could leave your ass and take half, whoo! I've heard of those tragic stories too.
That's pretty funny though. Like, oof, I imported her, but I let her hang out with the TV too long.
Yeah, exactly.
She was watching Atlanta Housewives.
Yeah. Now, femcells are the silent trend that's going. Nobody's out here calling women femcells or anything like that, but it's happening too, and it's intentionally happening because they're believing in the whole narrative of, I'm strong, independent, and I have to focus on my career. So then they end up getting themselves bumped out of the whole dating scene, right? Because they have too much high of a requirement. Where one, men will always want the younger woman, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when they're in their 40s and they're trying to date that 40-year-old guy, right? He wants to date the younger women, right? Mm-hmm. So they're kind of bumped out. Plus, they also want the guy who's equivalent to them. So they want to date the guy who's making them out either the same amount of money or more, right? When most guys, they just want to make do with what they got. So they're like down here, right? But they know that they could date the younger woman who's also down there. So it's like it's their own. There's these women that are creating their own involuntary celibacy. That's what incels are stand for. So yeah, there are femcells too. And unfortunately, you're not going to go against that narrative because, how dare you? Feminism. How dare you go against that narrative? Even though it's for their own good and say, no, you're pricing yourself out of the market. Mm-hmm. But the stats don't lie. Tris pulled them up. He said it's from the U.S. immigration stats. So they do not lie, Lynn.
So, Tris, are there any stats out there? I'm gonna give you some homework real quick. Are there any stats out there? Like, are women leaving the U.S. to find, like what they're looking for?
I would say yes. Or is it
just men who are going out of the country for?
I would say yes because there's a show called 90 Day Fiance, and I know it's the same. There's women doing that too, where like she's she priced herself out, and so she started looking out to outside other places of the world. Wow, Trish said divorce rate is 2% in those marriages.
Wow,
damn. I would challenge to see.
So I also heard interesting fact that relationships where the woman is the one who approaches the man end in marriage way more often than if the man approaches the woman.
Really?
Yeah. I was like, really? I didn't know that.
I always said I don't understand why women won't approach. I always said that, especially when there's a guy that they like clearly like, but they're gonna sit here and just wait. Like, make it known, make it like kind of hit the guy over the head, and then he'd be like, "Oh, maybe I should make a move," and then he'll be like, "Oh, this was kind of easy." It's like make it at least somewhat obvious, but women are like, "No, I'm just gonna wait until you." Like, I get it, you don't want to get rejected. We were
talking about this too. I had a few ladies over here over the weekend, and we were talking about, like, why is it that it's so hard for women to approach men? And we kind of all came to the conclusion that it's just so taboo that we get in our own minds and we stop ourselves from approaching that guy who has caught our attention.
Nah, see, once again, this is you guys are doing your female manipulation on it.
Oh
The
boy,
reality
here
is,
we go.
the reality is, you guys don't want to get rejected.
Hmm.
The same way a man doesn't want to get rejected.
Hmm.
But society put the pressure on the man because they're like, oh, the man should be the one approaching the women.
Hmm.
But I guarantee, like you guys, you don't want to get rejected. You don't want to see that cute dude and go up to him and he'd be like, nah, you ain't my flavor. Like that
Hmm.
would kill you. That would kill you if you heard that. But guys got to hear that like 9 times before one says yes. This is why. This is the reason why. Once again, I go like men and women are not the same because men do get to they have to hear that rejection over and over and over again. So when you see a guy who does have game
Hmm.
and you're like, oh, he's good with women. Oh, you got to realize he also is good at getting rejected.
Hmm.
He's also good at getting
Which
no's
is
a
with
lot.
everything in life. Like you have to, fail multiple times before you
Right.
succeed.
Right. So this guy got rejected multiple times. This guy learned how to sell himself. Right. This is the reason why these are the same guys who are good in business.
Hmm.
Right. The guys who are good in business, who can sell something, are also the guys who are good with women. They can't. You guys don't correlate the two things. It's because he's constantly getting rejected. And he had to change his pitch. He had to go and say, oh, you know what? All right, I'm coming at a different angle. He had to work on that elevator pitch on being able to sell himself. Right.
Yeah.
He had to be able to be like, okay, she's gonna say no, just like a car salesman, right? A car salesman's like, no, well, we got a certain deal going on, he starts throwing you the sweetness to say, oh, okay, maybe I will, or maybe I should buy this car, right? Like you just came to look at it, and you roll 2 hours later, you rolling out on it, right? So it's the
Hmm.
same thing. So it's like that's the reason why women will not approach because women hate getting rejected. You guys hate it. Like, this is the reason why a guy could treat a woman like shit and a woman keeps coming back and back and back.
Hmm.
But the same, if the guy was to be like, oh, you're my life, you're my everything, I put you on the pedestal, she's going to get bored. It's the same thing. It's like that second you get rejected, you're like, well, what's wrong with me? What did I do? What did I? Like you jump through hoops to try to fix that because women hate getting rejected.
I know. We were all having a great time the other night and we were laughing about it. And, we all feel that same general, like, it's intimidating to approach a guy.
It's intimidating
And
approach
also,
women.
my one girlfriend was telling me that she was asking a guy this question, and the guy said that between like him and his buddies, anytime a woman approaches the man, like they're super awkward.
The woman is?
Yeah, like the guys get that feeling too, that like when a woman approaches them, some kind of interest, they're super awkward about it, and they find it kind of endearing though.
Tris said, I mean, not Tris, Drunk said one time, he was like, he doesn't like it when a woman approaches. He's like, it's like, it's weird. It's off-putting for him,
Mm-hmm.
But that's Drunk who's been, in the game for a minute. I'm telling you, there's a lot of guys who would just find dating so much easier if women would approach.
Mm-hmm.
Because once again, a woman could walk out her door, no matter how she looks, a woman could walk out her door and have like 10 suitors. She may not like those 10 suitors, right? And this is why women find it really annoying when there's constantly men hitting on them because they're not attracted to them.
Mm-hmm.
Watch. And this is another thing. Like all this Me Too stuff, all this like sexual harassment stuff, all that, it's only because they're ugly. I swear, it's only because they're ugly. Because if it's the cute guy that's doing it, that's like, oh, okay. It's not sexual harassment when the cute guy does it. Okay? Let's clear that out.
All right, so back to the rates real quick. So the divorce rate was only 2% in the marriages where the male
mail order bride marriage.
Yes.
2% divorce
as opposed
rate.
to 63%, which is the American divorce rate.
With just normal dating.
Yeah.
So fellas, why would you, if you're really serious about, once again, and this is hoflation, this is what's going on right now, it's hoflation in the United States. Really, when you talk to these women,
mm-hmm.
you should just have your fun with them. And if you're really serious about taking it to the next step as far as like marriage and kids, mm-hmm. as just showing you the stats, you're better off importing. And this is, I'm sorry to say it, ladies, but this is what you guys did. This is what you did. This is what feminism did. You wanted to be such like men that now all you guys are doing is out here just sleeping around. Like I said, hoflation. So like, why would men take you guys serious? You guys are not taking yourselves serious. Like, just have your fun with them. And then when you really want something, import it. I've been saying that for a minute. Import it.
He said mail order husband stats are so low, they're under negligible. Oh,
and I can tell you the reason why it's like that, because once again, women have high standards where they want a guy who's making either equal to them when it comes to money or above them. So like that nurse, right, wants that doctor. But mind you, all the other nurses wants that doctor. It's like, come on, you guys. Once again, this is why I keep telling, like, it's okay to be average. It's okay to be average. You'll be happier. Trust me. Back in the 50s, everybody was average and everybody was happy. Yeah, she tells me every time I see the cup. I feel like you need a Pac-Man done. Wow, 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 wow. So you know who else they're trying to cancel him?
Oh, geez.
That's a pivot. We can go back to it. But they're trying to cancel Tim Allen.
Really?
Yeah. Who he was the voice of who? Buzz Lightyear, right? Right? Tim Allen was the voice of Buzz Lightyear? I remember as a Santa Claus. That's what I remember. Home Improvement and the Santa Claus. And he had like all those movies. And he was like Disney's like Disney loved him. But now all of a sudden, he made a comment about woke. He was like, so, you know, where does all the woke people hang out or something? It was a really bad comment. I didn't find it insulting. But now they're pulling up like his mugshot from like the 70s. And they're like trying to cancel him. He's like, what's wrong with being woke?
Yeah. Who is the face of woke? Tim Allen tweet riles up liberals.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. So Tim Allen was Buzz. That's what I thought. I thought he was Buzz. Yeah, because there was like
known as the Santa person, the Santa Claus.
Yeah, but it was funny too, because I remember over the summer there was the big hoopla when the Lightyear movie was coming out, and they switched the voices. They went from Tim Allen to Chris Evans, so Captain America. They went to Captain America to do the voice, and like a lot of people were outraged by that. They were like, "How dare you? You know, pick Tim Allen? He's the voice of Buzz Lightyear. What are you doing?" Yeah. And now it's funny because now that they're all trying to cancel him. It's crazy because if you go on Twitter and you pull up like his name, you'll see his mugshot. And I was like, holy shit, he had the 70s stash and everything. And he was like so young. And they're trying to pull up his dirt from like what, 40 years ago, and they're just trying to make him they're trying to cancel him because he went against the whole woke narrative.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's a really bad. Yeah, there's the mugshot. It's like it was just a really bad tweet, and now he's getting backlash. So once again, if you're a celebrity and you see that kind of like backlash, why would you say anything?
Right. I'm not even a celebrity, and I see like the mess that social media is, and like I'm just not on there. I'm not on there.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Yeah. So it's like. Yeah, it's crazy. Like look at even though Tris like rocks with us, look at the comment he made when I was just trying to talk about what Kanye was saying, and I didn't even call them out. I didn't say the name. I was just kind of dancing in between the lines, and just said it like, you sound like a Nazi. It's like, geez, I was like, I'm not trying to. I don't even have that kind of hate in my heart, bro. I'm just trying to point out certain things. And it's like, no, you're a Nazi. So this is how they get you. This is how they keep you in line, and this is how they censor you. Because they do it through self-censoring.
I was totally like a part of that conversation, but I really wasn't. I had no idea who we were talking about. I was talking about
because I was like,
oh man, that doesn't make any sense now.
Right, because the way I was talking about it, I was trying to not like say it like Kanye just came out and said it, and I was like, damn. But that's how they do. That's how they program you. So this is the reason why. This is the reason why when Ukraine came out, everybody was with Ukraine without even not even knowing what's going on and not even seeing as soon as they were like, yo, Ukraine's being attacked, and everybody was like, oh, Ukraine. Mind you, I don't understand how we went from Kofifi And that whole narrative where a lot of people was like, man, they're lying about Kofifi, right? They're
Mm-hmm.
lying about the mask. I'm lying about all this. And then they go right into Ukraine and be like, yup, they're telling the truth on
Right.
this. They're telling the truth. It's like, how
Right.
you not question it still?
Tristan, admit it, Ray. You can heal after you admit it.
Admit what? That I'm a free thinker? Yeah, I told you that a lot of times. I'm a free thinker. Like Lynn likes to call me a bully. I'm like, how am I a bully? I'm not a bully.
I don't think you're a bully in general. You're just a bully towards me. You're my bully. But you're my older brother. So it's like, all right, yeah, that's just who you are. Did you just try defending yourself?
I will always defend myself. You ain't got no proof. You got a tape?
Oh.
Ain't no tape out there.
I have a couple scars, all right? I'm gonna start showing my scars, actually. No, I don't have any scars. I just wanted to talk shit.
Trying to seem like I'm abusive now, too. Shit, listen, I just passed a background check. I'm all good. I'm all good. There's no proof out there.
That's because we grew up before the dangers that is the internet today.
Is it really dangerous out there?
Yeah,
I don't think it is.
I don't want to say danger as in, oh my God, you're in danger. I want to say danger as in, like, when you make your mistakes, that's it. Like, if you put that on the internet, like, that's there forever, like the internet never forgets.
I think it's dangerous if you're dumb. If you're dumb, like, you're gonna fall for everything the internet got out there, right? Like, there's a reason why we all laugh at the African prince saying, hey, I got the money, I just need you to help me, right? Because we've all seen that scam. But yet, to this day, that scam is still going out there because there's people out there that fall for it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is a prince. He's going to help me out. Like, there's still people who fall for that. So, like I'm saying, listen, there's a certain type of people that fall for certain things. And, yeah, the internet is dangerous for them. So, that's my thing. I fall for some scams. I'm not going to deny it.
No, but I mean, scams were around when we were young too. I don't mean so much the scam side. I just mean like the vulnerability of like putting yourself out on the internet and then not being able to retract that. Like when you're young, you make decisions and you post about it. You're like, oh man, this is what I'm doing with my life. And then 10 years later, oh crap. Now my employers are looking at my Facebook page.
That was the internet 20 years ago. We're not even at that point of the internet. We're at the point where if you just say something, then somebody will cut it up and take you out of context.
That's true.
To make you look bad. That's where we are with the internet. So everything is taken out of context. Look at Tim Allen's tweet. His tweet wasn't that bad. He was just like making like trying to be funny joke. It was almost like a weird dad joke. And yet they're like, oh, cancel Tim Allen. Like, I don't even know if you just say woke, right? How do you justify that? That's not a gender. That's not a race. That's no kind of sexuality. Like, who's getting offended with that?
Yeah.
It's just a word. Maybe you could say it's a label, but it's like, there's nothing there for you to be like, oh, you're being insulting.
Right. But and when you say woke, for me, I can't even think of like a specific individual because you're right. It's not.
I can.
It's not like a specific label.
Those were the individuals that went after him. Like, well, what are you trying to say? What are you trying to say, Tim?
Oh man, Ma's coming after you. She said, "I'm your eyewitness, Lynn. He's a bully."
A bully that she always wanted to go back to. Remember that, Ma. Every time she tried telling on me, and then you would try to discipline me, she would come and defend me. Don't hit my brother. Don't hit my brother. I'm lovable. See? Y'all love me. Oh, man. Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get why they're going after Tim Allen because it was just pull it up. Can you pull up like the actual tweet? It was crazy. Like I don't see how that was insulting.
Let's see. I think that was his tweet. Like, who is the face of woke or something like that?
No, it was more into it. It was like, who's the fake of woke? It's like, do they have a woke hideout or something like that? Like I said, it was like a really bad tweet, a really bad joke, and
Maybe
for
this.
that,
All right. Who is the face of woke? Do wokies have a clubhouse in someone's backyard or maybe a cute yet safe playpen somewhere?
right? And so they just like it was a bad joke that they went, and now you get canceled for that.
19 hours ago.
Oh, Chris is saying you have Stockholm syndrome, Lynn.
I have Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah, you have Stockholm syndrome.
So I don't
That's what
actually love
you.
you. I love you because you're my abuser.
Mm-hmm. There's
Yeah, you
numbers
care
you
about
can
your abuser.
call. There's numbers you can call, Lynn, if you need help.
Yeah, so that was his comment.
Yeah, but you should see the replies. Like the replies are what is where it goes crazy because it's just like, man, there's some really sensitive people out there. Like once again, his comment is like, "Oh, where do woke people go?" Blah blah. Like it's a bad joke. It's like a very bad, corny joke, and I don't understand unless you are woke. It's you know what those things is like. Tell me you're this without telling me you're this. That's literally what it is. He posted it, and all the people who are outraged by it is like, tell me you're woke without telling me you're woke.
Yeah. So if you have blue hair, start there.
Mm-hmm.
I knew you would like that one.
That's funny because you're like, I don't have an image of somebody who's woke, and I'm like, I do. I do. They were all in the She-Hulk writing room. You definitely fit a category.
Right, so I thought this was like the comments underneath it, but it's not. It's just oh no, it's more tweets. I missed that right here where it says more tweets. Whoops. Show more replies. Thank you.
So go down to the faces of Kanye, Elon, and Trump. So this is where they're going and they're correlating this where you know how like I've been saying the narrative that the left pretty much has all of Hollywood, all of social media, all of like everything, right? All tech, all that, right? And so they're saying that now that Trump has Truth Social, Kanye bought Parler, and then Elon Musk is supposed to buy Twitter. That now oh my God, they're the evil faces of social media now. They own everything. They're gonna censor all this, and I'm like, oh, bro, the censoring has been happening for years. It had a pivotal effect on the 2020 election, and just because you know. I mean, Elon Musk is probably the only one with Twitter, possibly with Twitter, but the other two, they failed. You know, Parler failed. True Social is failing. Like they don't have the mass like people like Twitter or even Facebook has. Facebook is really the one that's really influencing everything. The fact that the FBI went to Facebook and it was like, hey, don't post anything about the Hunter Biden laptop story. And this was back in 2020 right before the election.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're having a lot of independent voters who said, if I knew about the Hunter Biden story, I wouldn't have voted for Biden. That to me is election tampering.
Right.
Like that's clearly how they cheated the election. And when you say that, people are like, "Oh," they're like, "What are you talking about, you conspiracy theorist?"
Right.
Oh. Anywho, did you want to pull up that one clip that I sent you? Since we were talking about dating and importing, it kind of goes in line with why men should import. Shout out to Abba and Preach too, because that's the clip that we're gonna steal from here for a little bit. And we don't have to watch the whole thing because I really don't want their opinion. I just want to get to the clip. I think it was at like 4:05 or something like that. That was the timestamp. But yeah, Abba and Preach, they're really dope. I like the way they think, and I'm gonna be honest, they were kind of the inspiration for our show. You know, I was like, yo, let's kind of oh.
All right, we're bringing it up.
But you see, that's a tangible argument, Ray, because you have proof. Proof of what? What was I talking about? I said a lot of things. I'm like, proof of what? Proof of purchase. Yes, I have receipts. I'll show you all of them. It's the ones that say that every phase was tampered with. Voting machines, mail-in votes. But you know what? I know a lot of people said that, and I know they were like, oh, but if you dive into a lot of that stuff too, right? Remember, 2020 was a weird election, right? Because we had it was all through COVID. So there was a lot of lax mail-in ballot rules, which once again, a lot of states didn't follow what they were supposed to follow. Like they were supposed to say, hey, from a certain date, right? From the date of the election or before, anything after shouldn't count, but they were counting them anyway, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there was a lot of stuff that was fishy about that. The only thing that I questioned when it came to the voting machines was why didn't they do an audit? Like if you had this big outrage where people were crying and complaining that it was fraudulent, why didn't they go and send an audit? And just so they not even to squish that narrative, but to just make people confident in the whole voting system.
Mm-hmm.
Like me personally, I'm done voting because I think it's all hogwash. I'm like, if you could change the rules as you willy-nilly, why play the game then?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, does my vote really count at that point? Like, is it really like, do we really elect our leaders or are they appointed at this point?
Yeah.
So it's like that simple audit of the systems and showing, hey, we did the audit and here's the the validations and all that. Like we don't even know a lot of these voting systems, they're closed systems. We don't know what's the code. We don't know what's going on. We don't know like if you pick A, you actually get A as your outcome. Like if I pick A, do I end up getting B as my income? We don't know. We don't know. So like that's the only thing when I question a lot about that. But I was saying from the get-go that the way the media and social media kind of steered the narrative when it came to that election, that's how that election was stolen to me personally. So like, the fact that Trump would say something, he would say, bananas are yellow. And they'd be like, Trump said today that the sky is purple. And I was like, he didn't even say it. He wasn't even talking about that. What are you talking about? They take shit out of context. That's misconstruing and that's misleading the people for an election. Yeah.
Trump, at this point, you got to pay me the vote.
Yeah. I'm not voting. Yeah, I'm not voting. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done. I'm done being played and I'm done playing in their games. It's like left or right. It's both sides of the same bird. Right? It's like they're both gonna, in the end, they're both gonna fuck you. So I'm done.
All right, so I'm gonna play.
So I think it go to around 4 minutes in.
Well, there's a bit right here. It's like 2-part clips.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you.
Yeah.
How much money do you make? Like I don't want to seem like interested in like money and stuff, but
stop. All right, stop right there. Yeah. Yep. Just right where he said stop. So, like I said, once again, shout out to Alban and Preach. I love these guys. I watch them all the time. I got to be honest. I get a lot of influence from them. They're great. If you haven't checked out their channel, check out their channel. They have great perspective on things, and as you can see, they got like almost 2 million followers, and they're still like humbled in the sense that they're not like going with a lavish studio and all this. And so, I saw this clip, and it was funny because it's been tying in with a lot of things we talk about. Mm-hmm. And so, to give some context as far as that clip they showed us, this guy is on a first date with a girl, and he took her to Applebee's. And she found it very insulting that he took her to Applebee's. So I think the next clip.
We didn't even show that part of the clip yet, though. You're just.
Well, that's where you're going. So go 4 minutes in. Okay. Because that clip, the first clip you showed was kind of like out of context. There you go.
I just want to come out from the get.
Oh man!
Advertising! Oh my goodness! What's the ad for? Teens, rated teen. What's it? Let's see it. Let's watch the teen. Might as well. Shit, let's watch the ad and give Alban and Preach some money. Chunk said, I rock with them too. They're not as biased as people think. They definitely give male-based opinions, but they're call out BS. Yeah, they do. And they take down, if they find more proof or context for a video, they'll take that down. I saw it recently. Like they were ragging on this chick because they thought that she had catfished a guy, but then when they dig more into the story, they found out that she had the photos of everything, and the guy was just being a dick. So she changed it. They changed. I think that was the video previously to this one. They went and redid the whole video, and they changed the title and everything. So good on them for that. Like I mad respect for them. Like I said, they're very influential, at least for me in this whole YouTube thing. Like I would, if you inspire to be like certain people, like I inspire to be like I've been preached. They're dope.
I'm not a gold digger or anything, but I just don't go out with boys.
I'm not a gold digger or anything.
I think I made good enough.
And I know you just took me to Applebee's, like, I get it. Maybe you don't want to take me to the most fanciest place, like on the first date, but never again are you gonna take me.
Next time we could go somewhere else.
Like Applebee's is not acceptable.
I'm
high
We're
end.
just getting to know each other. You're not even my girl.
Well, yeah, but this is dating to marry, right?
I don't know.
Well, who knows?
And if I date, it's not to waste my time, so I'm not gonna be going out and going to, cheap restaurants.
So, yeah. I'm gonna let you go first on this one.
All right.
I've been going hard on women.
I think that she, good on her for saying what it is that's on her mind. But I also feel like she's completely out of line. Like, it's one thing to be like, hey, I don't date broke guys. Okay. So then don't go on a date with a broke guy and then be like, oh, well, like, I feel like if she has to ask these questions, clearly she already knows the answer.
The funny thing is she says, I'm not one to waste my time, but then it's like you're literally wasting your time with somebody who's under your standards.
Right.
Like, I don't understand that. If you don't like going to cheap ass places, why would you even show up there?
Right. And why
like,
would
the second
you
you
stay?
to where it was?
If,
like, why? Yeah.
Right.
Why run him up then?
That's where you guys are headed, and you're like, hey, I'm not an Applebee's kind of girl. Why are you even going into Applebee's and having this meal or having this drink? Like, you are literally wasting your time.
Yeah.
As far as like her asking, how much does he make? And I just feel like she's belittling him. Like, how does she plan on developing anything with this man if she's starting out on the wrong foot? She's starting out belittling him. She's starting out kind of saying, hey, like, I don't know, she's just really rude.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever asked anyone how much they make. I feel like that's one of those questions that's like taboo. You're not supposed to ask.
Well, listen, you know what though? That's okay if you listen. If ladies want to ask that question, that goes back to me telling drunk, yo, how much debt do you got?
Right.
Like, if she wants to ask, if she has the audacity to ask you on our first date how much money you make, then you should have the balls of steel to say, all right, how much debt you got?
Yeah.
Remember, she got up and walked away.
She don't got that many serious options, or else she wouldn't be talking to him in the first place. Right.
Mm.
I'm not even mad at her question, but I would be, it would be my life. The money she makes doesn't match what she requires.
He said, I would bet my life that the money she makes don't match what she requires, which I 100% agree with drunk. Because once again, they're here, but they want you to be here.
Right.
Remember, the nurse is not looking at the janitor at the hospital. Even though he may be a really nice guy, cool, humble, whatever, could treat her like a queen. No, she's looking at the doctor, who, once again, all the other nurses wants that doctor too. Mm-hmm. And this is the product. This is what we're dealing with in society. This is it. Here's a clip. He took her to Applebee's, mind you. Alvin preached dogged out Applebee's, but I was like, what's wrong with Applebee's? I like Applebee's, especially when the song got it like, yo, fancy like, ooh,
Applebee's on a date night.
with the Bourbon Street shake
and the Oreo shake.
And the Oreo shake. I was like, yo, I I
With
went
the
to,
whipped
listen,
cream.
I shit you not. I went to Applebee's on Friday with my little man. We got the wings. I got the Bourbon Street steak. He got the Oreo shake. He also got the ribs with fries. He had the barbecue all over his face. I was like, what's wrong with Applebee's? I was like, yo, like this is where, like, what if the guy was like, yo, I thought this was a fancy place. I heard the song. I wanted to take you someplace like the song. I wanted to do that. The song inspired me, get the Bourbon Street steak with the Oreo shake. Junk said, okay, I know it seems like I always come in on dating topics, but I usually free up later half, and that's dating. No worries, Junk. Thank you for always coming in with the comments and showing love, man. Thank you.
Oh. All right, so Junk said, to me, Applebee's is a generous first date.
Yeah, but Abba and Preach said that's like McDonald's or Taco Bell. I was like, bro, this is crazy. This is crazy that we're escalating dating, especially the first date,
to
such a high level.
It's not that we're escalating dating. It's that dating is changing, and this man hasn't jumped on that new age of dating yet. It used to be like, hey, take a girl to the movies, take her out to dinner. But if you
that's what some of the comments were saying. That was some of the comments were saying was like, yo, I met my husband by us going to the movies and then, going to dinner, and we were talking and all that stuff. Like a lot of people are coming in saying like, look, there's nothing wrong with this as a first date. It's the high standards that's causing this a problem.
Yeah.
Like me, this is why I keep saying, you guys all laughed at me when you were like, oh, I'm a cheap date. But I'm like, look, if this is going to be the standards, I'm going to take you to Starbucks and we're doing coffee. That's it. We're doing coffee. I'm going to get to know you to see if I want to actually spend some more money on you.
If we're changing the dating scene, like that is a shift that we have seen. Like for me as a woman, I don't want somebody to take me to dinner as the first date. I don't want to have to lock into that entire, it's a big ordeal. Like there's multiple, like you have to wait on the waiter to come over. You have to wait for things to come out. It's
and if you're not vibing, right,
to something,
right.
It's like,
that's why I'm like, drinks.
What if
First
there's
date
no
should be
talking?
drinks, coffee, like something there. And then if it feels like there's something there, do it early too. Like, so if there's something there, be like, hey, are you hungry? Yeah. All right, let's go get something to eat. That's where you could then kind of take that first date, the first introduction, and then kind of make it into, okay, now we're going on the second date. And it could be the same day, but at least you kind of vibing within those first 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand. Like, yo, to me, like, I want to find a girl who rocks with that fancy life. Like, she's playing that and she likes Applebee's. If you don't like Applebee's, I'm done. I can't. Like, how, that means every freaking time we go out somewhere, I got to take you to Roof Chris Steakhouse? Come on, man.
Exactly.
This is crazy.
Instagram meals have turned Applebee's into shelter food.
Yeah.
So Chili's, Applebee's, Hooters, all that is
all
dog food now.
Yep. Jeez. Yeah, that's crazy, man. Like I used to think, like, yo, those are the step up, right? Yeah, I get it, the chain restaurants, but it would be the step up from your fast food or your other places. Like those were those were leading the way, right? With like Chipotle, all those places, they started leading the way. Mind you, once again, when you get as an older man, they say like, yo, if you get the college girl and you take her to Chipotle and you be like, yo, you can get anything you want. You can even get the guac. She's going to be like, oh my God, he got me the guac. So listen, this is all on dumb. This is all on dumb. Fellas, you find a way to like make it all work. This is you ladies that are just like crazy with this dating thing.
Ma said maybe he's rich, but he wants to see if she's a good woman or she just wanted him for his money.
Amen. And this is why I tell you guys, stop leading with your wallet.
I don't think that though, because of his comment. Like when she's like, oh, like you're not going to be bringing me to Applebee's. We will not be coming back here. He's like, no, next time I'll take you somewhere else. So if his response, that already tells me that man does not have the resources that she, is expecting him to have.
All I'm going to tell you, fellas, is if you really want to find out if a shorty's about you, act like you're broke. Stop leading with your wallet. Act like you're broke until 2 years into the relationship. And she's like, wait a minute. You've been living a double life? I was like, yeah, I had to weed you out. And you stuck around, even though I was broke. Like, if that means you got to have a hoopty vehicle, even though you got a nice ride in your driveway, get that little hoopty And that's what you go, up to the dinner thing. Take it to the first date by the hot dog stand. Like, this is all I got. Sorry. And then finally, she stuck around. She got to know you. Then you'd be like, yo, girl, you won the lottery because I really got 6 figures. Oh! I'm a millionaire.
Well, not even, because we spoke about something before. I think it was a Reddit where the woman was upset because her boyfriend does make more money, but he bought something expensive for himself and she wasn't about it. I think it was a suit. You remember that? He was like, right. When his brother's wedding, he spent $1,000 on a suit for himself,
right. And
which he can comfortably afford, and she was just not about it. She was not about that.
But once again, like I said, if he didn't let her in on the fact that he had money, she'd be cool with it. She'd be like, oh, he's broke, you know? He's broke. Yeah. That's what I'm telling you. Like, if you really want to know if she's about you, you got to act like you're broke. And then when you're planning on like, okay, listen, you know, I'm, you know, feelings are going somewhere, let's get married, then that's when you could be like, oh, I got money, by the way. After she's on.
He said she's mad because she can't post pics of Applebee's. I mean, she could.
She could. I mean, listen, if she was.
But then again, like, who's gonna post pictures of a first date? Like, if
they do this though, they do this. This is what you don't understand. Oh my God. This is what you understand, Lynn. They got dudes in their phones. I know you don't do it, but you can't deny that there's not women out here that are doing this. They literally got dudes in their phones as free meals. And when the dude calls, they're like, oh, I know where I'm going tonight. Oh, yeah, Ruth Chris. And these women are getting wine and dine because the thirst is real out here. And this is what I'm telling these fellas out here, like, yo, stop being thirsty. Start focusing on yourself. Elevate yourself, right? Stop leading with your wallet. And start going on some coffee dates.
Sean says if I take you anywhere on the first date where we can sit down and get drinks, I'm doing the most, honestly.
Right. So
I feel like I feel like him taking her to Applebee's was perfectly fine. That was acceptable. It wasn't like a cheap date. I don't think that's a cheap date. I don't know. I didn't see anything wrong with Applebee's, but I do get what the hell is it that I'm trying to say? I do get that there is a certain prestige with other restaurants that isn't there with Applebee's. Like Applebee's can't even compete with like the Outback Steakhouse. It doesn't compete with Chili's even. Like Applebee's is it's more like a diner.
But what going back to Drunk's comment, if she's not at that level, once again, we don't know her image, we don't know her picture. But if you're not at the level where you yourself can afford to be at that level, maybe she is an Applebee's chick, but she thinks she's a Ruth Chris. Like, I don't get it. Like, listen, like, this is the inflated ego that once again we're talking about, that we have all these women who are just average, but they think they're on another level because of Instagram and because they're modeling on there. They think that, like, oh, they can be on the NBA level. It's like, no, you're not. You're average. And the fact of the matter is, you got an average dude who's just trying to take you on a date, trying to get to know you. Stop trying to run it up, because that's what your whole marriage or whatever you're going to lead to, that's what it's all going to be about. And next thing you know, you two are upside down in debt.
Right.
It's like, yo, be average. Right. Go to the places you can afford. Like, I don't get it. I don't get it.
Post pics of anything, Lynn.
Yes, they do. Drunk knows. Drunk knows.
You could definitely run up a tab at Applebee's. I've done it.
Yeah, oh yeah. Applebee's is dope. I don't know why people hate about Applebee's, bro. Baby back ribs. Remember when the commercial? I got my baby back.
I remember that. I do. I know. He said, I don't know if there's any men in the chat. I don't know if there's any men in the chat, but how about you beat this? Take her to a local spot that's the same price as Applebee's. Yep, and she's gonna go for it because nobody's heard of it.
Yes, right. And that is true. Right. That is true. Just take out all the chains out of your dating repertoire, right? And go to the local spots. But once again, men don't do that homework. Drunk, you're 100% correct. And I said this. For you to know these spots, you got to be going to all these spots either constantly on dates or you do your homework and you scope out the area, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because this is what I used to do. I used to go to these places all by myself. And so people started to get to know me. This is how you get social proof too. So you go to that local restaurant, and as soon as you walk in, they're like, "Hey, Ray, how's it going?" Hey, and now it seems like you knew a spot, you know the town, you're in the club, right? Guys don't do that. Guys don't do that. They don't do the homework. But that's doing the homework, you know. But Junk, you're 100% right. You go to a local place. One, the food's gonna be better. Two, it's gonna be a lot cheaper. Right? Well, not now because now inflation, right? But before it would have been, food's better, cheaper, and the ambiance would have been better. And once again, you walk in there and everybody's like, "Oh, yeah, how's it going?" And she's impressed by that.
Yeah. I went on the first date at it was kind of like a hole in the wall kind of bar. They had really good wings, and I knew that's where we were going. He was like, "Hey, like, there's a spot I'd like to take you to." And it was a little bit of a drive. I met him there, and he told me, he was like, "We're gonna go for wings. It's wing night." He's like, "I've been there before." But we went and we had a great conversation, and I did enjoy myself. But I didn't go on another date with him, not because of where he took me, but because of the guy.
Hey, you just weren't vibing, which is fine. That's okay to say, the vibe.
But where
at least
he
did
took
the
me,
effort
it
to
was
know
kind
where
of
to take
cool.
you. Right.
It was like you have to be a local to know about it, kind of thing.
Right, and that's the thing, is like, even if like once again, like I said, I live, I'm in the middle of the woods. There is no local anything.
Mm-hmm.
I have to drive an hour everywhere. But I took the time to do that exploration because I wanted to be that guy. I wanted to be different from the next guy.
Right.
I didn't want to be the guy taking you to Applebee's, even though I'm spending that much there. I would have at Applebee's, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like, I get hit up from my friends all the time, like, "Yo, we're in Hoboken. Where should we go? Yo, where should we go?" Like, I know those places. I know, okay, you're in Connecticut? Okay, go to this spot, go to this spot. What kind of food do you like? See, because I'm also somewhat of a foodie too. So if we're going on a date, we're going on somewhere I like, especially if I'm paying. So we're doing Thai, but when you do that stuff and you're assertive with it, you're like, "Hey, do you like Thai food? Or you like sushi? Which one do you like?" "Oh, I like sushi. I never really tried it." "You should try it. It's really good. You never had Thai?" "Oh, you gotta try it. I know there's one spot." Boom, 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 boom. You show you're assertive. You show you're a man about your business. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And that's what women like that. And that's what Drunk said. Drunk said, "Facts. I like to go to these spots with my homies and be like, yo, there's a nice little date spot, low key." So he shows, like, you want right there, just the fact that you go there. She's like, "Oh, you've been here before?" Oh, like she's intrigued by you because you seem like a guy who goes out. Right? You got a social life. You're not a guy who just inside and you go out and you're like, "Oh, Applebee's, let's go to Applebee's." You get what I'm saying? Now, once again, that's the only bad thing I gotta say about Applebee's, because I think Applebee's is dope.
Right.
But in a woman's defense, she kind of want to see that you're about your business. You got social proof, right?
No, but not with this woman, not from the clip, because she said she called it a cheap spot. Like, in her mind, she wrote it off as a cheap spot.
Well, the fact that she asked him how much money he makes.
It's not about the price, because you can spend the same amount at Applebee's that you spend at like Texas Roadhouse. But I don't know. Applebee's does have like a negative connotation with it.
But I think, Lynn, that there was a first date and the guy was cute and you guys were vibing with him, you wouldn't care where the ambiance was.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah.
So this guy was busted. That's why she's like, "Yo, how much money you make?" Like 5 minutes. "Yo, I want to see his face." The guy is like, really, yo, a busted looking dude.
That's so mean.
Unless he was like a big dude too, like a big dude busted. Yo, how much money you make?
Drunk said, "I took a woman to all you can eat frog legs one time, and we had an amazing time just talking about how we hate frog legs. The local spot is the ones." Mm-hmm.
It is, especially like I said, and if you plan it right, because like once again, me and Lynn, I'm always trying to get Lynn out to Morristown, and like she went that once, and she's like, "Oh, I don't know." But if I was to be out in Morristown would be great because I could go to a local spot to eat. And I know those local spots because I've eaten there and they're great. I know the food, I know the ambiance. And then afterwards, if that initial, be it if it's drinks or a meal, whatever, if we're vibing, we could then walk to the other spots.
Right.
And so that leads, when you know the locale, that can lead into your conversation. Because Morristown has a great speakeasy. So I can go and start talking about like, yo, you like speakeasies? Oh, yeah. Oh, well, there's one down the street. Let's go check it out. Boom.
Yeah.
And if you know the schedule, live music is playing, you guys got a couple of drinks, next thing you know, you're dancing. Oh, it's a night. It's a night. But you got to be a man about your business. I'm telling you, my guy, he took that out. He was so mad.
Yeah, she wasn't happy about it. She wasn't. This same woman who was complaining about Applebee's could not eat at Ruth Chris 2 times in 1 week without missing rent.
But you see, here's the thing though, and I guarantee, like, this guy definitely wasn't, and in the looks category, he wasn't really, like, he might have been decent enough for her to go on a date, and he would have been more appealing if he would have taken her to the Roof Chris. But I guarantee she's done a lot more for a lot less with that dude who she thought was a 9, and he took her to BK. So come on. Yeah. That's on you. That's what I'm gonna start doing. That I'm gonna start going to the spot. I'll be like, "What's up? You know you've done a lot worse. So come on, me and you, we both know you've done worse. So let's go.
Oh my God! Don't start saying that. Don't say that at all. Like, it's not a good idea.
I was just saying, you were the one to be like, "Yeah, I've done worse." You know who's gonna do that? Joe's gonna do that. He's gonna be like,
"Oh my God,
I'm try that out."
Don't do that. Don't take that advice. That's not the one. That's not it.
You and I both know you've done worse. You've done worse. Come on, that time in college, you've done worse. She's gonna be like, yeah.
We'll have that conversation. Don't go there. Don't do it.
And she got listen. She got a couple of drinks in her, and she'd be like, she'll look you up and down. She'll be like, yeah, I've done worse.
What is this world coming to? We should definitely do a whole show of like things not to say on a date.
I'm telling you, bro. Listen. If you say that shit with confidence, because that's really all it comes down to. It's just confidence. So you just look her up and be silent afterwards. Be like give her the look. Give her like the rock side or something like. And just give her the look and just be silent. Just wait. And she's gonna be like, yeah, I have.
Drunk, I saw an amazing debate on Twitter the other day about sex tourism. A man posted a video of gorgeous women he met in the Philippines after a night.
Yeah, but a lot of those women gotta pay. So I mean, if you have no issue with paying, but listen, paying for it here in the States is a lot different when you pay for it in like Brazil, Philippines, all those other places, because your dollar definitely goes a lot longer. Let's just say that. There's so I said in the past that I'm influenced very heavily by Opie and Anthony. I used to listen to those shows, and there was a comedian on there named Patrice O'Neill. He passed away unfortunately, but he was a great comedian on that show. Had great content, and he used to say how he used to. That was kind of like his awakening, like the whole red pill to like how women have like this ego here in the States, because he would go over to Brazil and he would pay for it over there in Brazil, but they were very jealous of like the other women. They were like treated like they was on another level. And these were like dime pieces. These women were like, Brazilians, right? Amazing looking women. And they would treat him like a king. And mind you, he was paying for it, right? So when he found that out, he came over and he was like, yo, y'all ain't shit. Y'all ain't shit. You expect me to do all this and y'all ain't shit. I could go over here, pay for it, and get so much more. He's like, y'all ain't shit. And then he would always say that. And like, there's I believe at one time, Opie and Anthony gave him like his own show, and he did his own dating show, which I would throw that out there, fellas. Google on YouTube. Patrice O'Neill dating, and just listen to the stuff he would say. And that's how he got that awakening, was by going over there. So yeah, I 100% agree with it. If you have trouble with the ladies, just go out there, travel more, because you pay for it, you'll have fun, and then eventually you could import one who's, what was the divorce rate, Tris? What was it? 2%? 2% milk.
The women dogged him out for sex tourism, but the men were like, well, it's okay to pay for sex in America, but going to another country for it is evil.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy that, you know, the men and the women were both on there commenting, and the guy, of course, the guy was defending him. But what I don't like about it is that there's just a negative connotation around it, because we've seen stories about politicians and stuff who are going to other countries and they're paying for it, but they're paying for illegal shit. They're over there paying for little girls, and that's a completely different, you know, thing. But that's kind of like what kind of like rises in me.
But I mean, there's also there is a negativity to it. There is the whole sex trafficking thing. You know, I wouldn't want that on anybody. You know, so I would, if there's a way. This is why, like, I truly believe it should be legalized everywhere, because then you can monitor that. You can have like a government facility for that stuff. You can have, you know, healthcare to make sure it's all legit. I mean, it's the oldest profession in the world, right? When you make it taboo, that's when you start doing all the illegal stuff like sex trafficking. You know, and to me, like I said, it's a nightmare to hear those kind of stories when you're taken from your home, and you know that's all you're being used for. Right. But once again, when it comes to dating, when it comes to all of this, you're paying for it somehow. You're paying for it somehow. So you might as well be treated like a king.
Those women, like in other countries, expect you to pay for the whole village, and the day you stop paying, the girl will leave you.
There are some like that, yes. I've heard stories where you get the foreign wifey, and then the whole family moves in. I've heard stories like that. So, you know, there's some pros and cons, but you know, like Trish was saying earlier, though, the stats, man, the stats.
Honestly, courting American women these days is paying for sex, just without the guarantee of sex.
Exactly, and the Ruth Chris, she wants the Ruth Chris, she wants that steak.
I personally wouldn't do it because it's too much of a risk for me, but I'm not mad at anyone who does. It sounds like you've been through some stuff.
Buzz has always been some stuff. So that's a soldier, man. He went through some stuff the other day, man. Buzz gave us a scare, man. You know, everything's good with Fuzzy. All right, man. Landon, you have any, like, you just read the comments, and you have anything to say? I feel like it's one-sided. Like, I always feel like when we talk about dating, it's always one-sided. We need more female comments in here.
I have commented, and I don't really, it's hard because I'm not really putting myself out there. I'm just like too busy with everything else in my life that I'm not really paying attention to like the dating side of me. So I don't know. I don't really have many comments, but when I do.
Chiz with the jokes, man. I love Chiz, man. He's like, this is becoming an emotional support group. Who hurt you? Who hurt you?
Lynn is just doing a good job listening.
Yeah, you gotta have some ladies or something come call in or something. They don't have to show their face, but call in. Like, you gotta be a little more balanced.
Get the ladies on the line.
Who hurt you? Who hurt you?
Like I said, this is definitely group therapy for him.
It's funny though, because that's the first narrative when like a guy starts being outspoken about like the whole dating scene and everything. Like a lot of women, they come back and that's like the whole first thing. It's like, who hurt you? And I'm like, bitch, you're single. Who hurt you? Like you ain't in marriage. You ain't in like a 20-year relationship. You've been hurt too. What are you talking about?
Now, you know what? And this is something else. Like we're getting into relationships, and both sides we have unhealed trauma.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly. It's just snowballing. It's just making
damn if you do, damn if you don't.
Yeah, really. It's like this is the reason why Lynn's like, I'm not putting myself out there. I'm not really trying. It just sucks. It's like I'm the same way. I'm like, no. It's like what do you say? What do you say? I got disposable income now. I'm like, oh shit. It's like, if I get a woman, that's gone.
So Fuzz used to watch Filipino dating YouTubers, and I learned the girls only dated you for your money.
That is true, and Fuzz is 100% right, because they bait you. Especially once again, all goes back to a guy being like not having boundaries, not being secure in himself, right? So here's these guys, right? Once again, they call them incels here in the society. They can't date, so they go on over here, and they're like, "Well, I'm gonna mail or bride." And guess what? You're a mark, and it's not Filipino. It's not just Filipinos. Russians do it too. Like you go over, you're a mark, and he got money, and the next thing you know, he's importing the whole family, and the whole family's living at the house. It's like at some point you got to put your foot down. It's like no, but a lot of guys can't say no. Yeah, who hurt you? Their main line.
Their main line.
Who hurt you?
Go
Who
to.
hurt you? I'm like, who hurt you? You're a wreck too. It's like, I just laugh at that out. It's like that, or they, you're such a. If heaven forbid, if you ask, what do you bring to the table? Oh, you're such a. What's it we call it? Misogynist. You're such a misogynist. What do you want her to clean your house? What do you want? You want her to cook you something? I mean, yeah, if I'm buying an A5.
You gotta watch out in the Philippines because it might be a boy.
That too. Yeah, always, you know.
But that's going on over here too. It's going on everywhere. So men never go on a date thirsty for sex. If you want it bad, cancel the date. Thank me later.
Yes, because you will
it's
be
like
simping.
never going to the grogrocery store
You
hungry.
will be
That's my rule.
I do that all the time. I'll be like, I want this and this and this. Stack run.
Jeez.
Well, that's why they say, that's why there's, listen, jokes are funny for a reason, right? That's why in the, what's that movie? There's something about Mary, right? And there's something about Mary. He was going to go on a date. His buddy knew it. He was like, yo, you haven't been on a date for a minute. Go to the bathroom and take care of yourself before you go, because you're going to be like a hungry kid in a grocery store.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny to laugh about this, but it sucks when you're in it.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does.
Man, the shit you guys put, the shit we put up with, just so it could just make it work. It's like, what's the alternative? I don't want to be alone. Oh man. But man,
the ladies and I started talking about women approaching men because we had stopped at a gas station. We were taking the trip. We stopped at a gas station, and they the two ladies that were with me both felt like there was some kind of chemistry between me and the dude at the gas station. So we leave and they're like, dude, why didn't you talk to him? Why didn't you get his number? Why didn't you tell him he was cute? And I told them, I was like, well, I don't know. I don't really approach guys.
Would you had approach him if he wasn't at the gas station?
No.
So it wasn't the location. It wasn't the fact that he works at a gas station.
No. I don't know what to say. I don't even know what to say. He even gave me a discount on what I bought. And I still didn't know what to say. I was just like, thank you.
Well, all I can say is, ladies, listen, approach. There's nothing wrong with it. But you guys won't do it because you guys are scared of getting rejected. So think about guys too. And you know what's messed up? The messed up part is when most women don't do this. Most women, when you approach, and they're like, oh no, they're nice. And they'll entertain you for a second, and then they'll be like, well, thank you for meeting. It was nice meeting you or whatever, right? They reject you in a nice way. Mm-hmm. But there's some now that got that ego that they'll just laugh in your face. It's the most nerve-wracking thing to do, is to come up to a stranger and be like, hey, I am interested in you, not as at another level, right? That's hard to do as anybody. Mm-hmm. But then there's some women who just laugh in your face, or they'll be just mean about it. I'm like, geez. Yeah. So it's
I don't know. Ladies, women laughing in your face, you need to double check who you're approaching.
Some women
that's crazy.
I'm dead serious. I've heard stories like that. Or they'll just yell in the middle of the place, fuck off. What? It hasn't happened to me, but I heard guys say things like that. I'm like, damn. Damn, that's cold. No, I always get the nice one. I always get oh, she was nice. Wait, I just got rejected. They just walking on oh man, you got rejected. I'd say, ladies, start approaching, man. Start approaching. Listen, it's 2022, right? You equal as a man, so start approaching.
All right. Women are getting more aggressive these days. I got hardcore hit on twice in the last week by sevens.
Good. That's how it should be. If they want to be, listen, they want to be like guys, Cool. Start approaching men. Get rejected. Women hate getting rejected. Get rejected. So you didn't approach Lynn because you were scared of getting rejected? Yes.
I have to go chase my cat off.
Oh my
Up on
goodness.
shit.
You're a kitty cat.
I'm gonna be happy when I drop him off at the vet. Like, yeah, they're gonna take your manhood. Here you go, crazy cat. He's over here looking at me.
And that's
No,
listen, take
you
that
know
clip.
what?
Take that
Honestly,
clip what
like-
she just said and put that for most women. But they do that with men. I got your manhood.
That is not the same. Oh my god.
Take it out of context. Put it as
Take
a
it out
meme.
of context.
Put it as a meme.
Somebody's gonna like clip that part and be like, Lynn hates
Modern
men.
women be like, I got your manhood.
No, honestly, I didn't approach him because I didn't know what to say. That's all it was.
So-
I was like, I don't even know what to say to this man. What do I say?
So Lynn, go to Drunk's latest comment. This is the reason why women do the whole like, because they're, look at what Drunk just said. I'm not gonna lie, rejecting a woman is addicting adrenaline rush. Maybe I'm messed up. This is the reason why you have the women out there that will laugh in your face or be like, fuck off, because it feels good to reject somebody.
Oof, it's awful.
Yeah.
I see why, like turning down men. It's fun saying no to somebody who wants you.
Right.
It's not fun. That's not true. Drunk, that's not true.
That's how women are out there, though. Women are like
Oh
that.
my god, but it's not fun doing that. Like, let's take that word out of there.
No, that's how they think. That's why they're like that.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if they're, like Drunk said, he got hit on by a 7. So if she thinks, she's all that, right? It's a ego trip to turn down dudes. And she may be even attracted to the guy. She just wants to get off on just turning him down. And then be able to, show up, especially with her friends all around, and be like, "You saw that guy? Oh, he was such a cutie, but I turned him down because I got it like that." That's how it is. You laugh at me, but bro, I'm telling you, man, it's rough out there.
No, I hear the most outrageous things from you. Like, what? That's what's happening in the world?
Yeah, until you hear like validation. I'm like, yes, I get validated. Yeah. Like, you guys don't believe me. I'm like, yo, it's scary out there.
Men are always down to date.
They are. So the chances are of a man doing that to a woman, like unless you're drunk. Let me put that caveat out there. Unless you're drunk, for the most part, a man would be flattered if a woman is hitting on them, or even just a simple like compliment. Like you said, like you like giving people compliments. When a guy hears that, it makes like he could be at the point of where he's about to jump off a bridge, and a woman could be like, "Wow, I like your shoes," and the next thing you know, he's like, "Life is great again." It's like you don't understand. Like we don't, guys don't get that on a regular. So the fact that a woman would do that, and this is what I'm saying, ladies, be more friendly. Be more nice. If you like a guy, hit on him. Make the approach. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Oh, Tracy, I'm going to confess only on here that I have a hard time with cold approaches.
Bro, I understand it. You're going to a complete stranger saying, "Hey, I am sexually attracted to you," because that's really what it is, right? We play it up, but that's really what it is. It's like you're a woman, I'm a man. I want to take it on that. This is a man-woman interaction. Right? You don't want to approach with the like, "Hey, I want to be friends," right?
Right.
So you got to go with that, "Hey, I'm sexually attracted to you." It is nerve-wracking. It really is. So ladies, take up some of the onus on this. And there's a guy you like, approach him. Lynn's like, "Fuck it, I'm going back to that gas station."
Hell no, that gas station was mad far. I picked up my girlfriend from the airport.
Oh, that's what it was. You did the logistics. You were like, "I ain't driving out here." He works at a gas station. It's 2 hours away.
No, all right. So here was the whole thing. We went into the gas station. I seen the dude. He gave me a discount. I bought a bunch of wraps. I was buying wraps so we could roll up. And then we left the gas station. I was about to drive off. I was driving, and I was like, "Wait a minute. I need drops." So I ran back in. I bought the eye drops. So I interacted with this man twice. And on the way back out, I sat back in the car and I looked over and like, you know how at gas stations you could tell like whose car belongs to the dude working at the gas station? He had a nice car. And I was like, shit, guys, I just missed my opportunity.
Yeah, you probably like, yo, he works at this gas station. He's a broke nigga. And
No,
he
I was
owns the
like,
joint.
no, I
He
think
owns
he
three
owns
of
the
them.
gas station. Like he just
He
gave me
owns
that
three of
vibe.
them,
That
and
like
you
he
like,
owned the
nah.
gas station.
He got a better ride outside than your ride. And you're like, nah. Do you see why, fellas? Like, he telling you, stop leading with your wallet. Act like you broke. Even have a whole broke wardrobe. And just make sure your game's tight. Just be confident. She's like, wait, this not about you. What is it? I'm rich, bitch. I'm rich, bitch.
Oh my God. 2 times interacting. You could have got the digits, Lynn.
Mm-hmm.
I
She was
should
scared of getting
have.
rejected. That's what it was. She said, so you listen. Cold approaching sucks for us. It sucks for them too. Look. And she's like, hi. Is that what you did? Hi. And then you ran off.
That was me. I was like, I don't know what to say.
Jelly's
Oh
compliment.
man, my girls were getting on me. They got on me hard. I was like, you know what? Next time, I'm gonna be prepared. I'm gonna know what the hell to say.
Yo, Fuzz said, rate my woman approach. Psst, psst. Yo, shorty, how you doing? How you doing? He cat calling out here.
Yeah.
How you doing?
All right, so I had a man. No joke. I was walking. I just got out of my car. I parked at Target, and I start walking up the aisle, and he's coming. Same aisle of the cars. Mm-hmm. He's like from all the way down there. Like I wasn't even at this man yet. He was like,
I think you told me the story. He's like, yo.
Yep. He's like, can I just get down on one knee right now?
Damn.
Right. So like guys get creative. They do. And of course, like I giggled a little bit and I got a little interaction with him. But I did turn him down because I was already involved with someone. But guys get creative with this shit. I'm like, yo, as a woman, I don't even know what to say. Like guys even do like their whole little psst, psst. What's good, ma? What's good?
So do you get insulted when you get catcalled?
It depends.
I wish I lived in a world. It could just be for one day where I'm walking and I'm getting catcalled. Yeah. Like I just want to know how that feels. Like, yeah.
You know what? It does get annoying.
Shit.
It does get annoying because
who knows? Maybe by like 4 p.m. I get annoyed.
It gets annoying because when a man cat calls you with the pss, pss, whatever, if you don't give them your attention, they get rude. They start cursing you out. They're like, oh, F you, biatch, yada, yada. Like, so catcalling is not appealing because it's like if you don't show any kind of inkling of attention to this man, they're going to turn around and be nasty to you.
And just be nasty about it.
But the catcalling itself, like, it's validating. Like, I love that shit.
So at first it's cool. Hey, Ma, you looking good. But the second you reject them, you're saying that's where, we got to take rejection better.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So John said, here's another question. If a woman offers you her Snapchat, Instagram, or whatever, is that the same as a number these days? I'll let you go first, one.
No. I feel like if a woman is offering you their Instagram or Snapchat or anything like that, they're trying to keep you hidden. You're not actually in their phone. Versus if they give you their phone number, you're actually contacting them and like you can have that back and forth. It's completely different.
And I would take it one step further. As we did mention earlier, a lot of women these days are all about their social status. She might just be giving you her Instagram because she wants another follower. Don't be another follower. And if your social status is not up there, I wouldn't even be talking about that because you are getting rated by that. If she has, let's say she has 1,000 followers and she looks at you and you only got 30, she's going to look at you like, what's wrong with you? Once again, I talked about earlier about the social proof and social status. You got to have that. You got to have that nowadays because, you are competing with social media. So if you don't have that, if your social status is not up with social media, I wouldn't even talk about that. I'll just worry about the locale wherever you're going and be that guy wherever you go. So yeah, Lynn's right. If you're not in her phone front and center, she's kind of like she just wants another click on her Instagram. That's it.
Yeah. Also, before y'all go to another question, your friend likes the person, but that person likes you. Is that person off limits to you? Oof. All right. So there was this boy. I was back in high school now. Like we were in the same group. Like we did like a youth empowerment kind of group. And he and I always used to flirt. Like I liked this boy a lot. But we never actually like spoke on that. And then later on, he ended up sleeping with one of my girlfriends. Now, for me, that boy is now off limits because he's already slept with my friend.
Really?
Yes. I don't want her dirty seconds, whatever. Like, I don't know. There's too many people here. That's too complicated.
I don't know. I would, me personally, as a guy, I'd be like, I shot my shot. You rejected me. I'm moving on.
Mhm.
Right? Now, this is a different story because, there was, sex involved. So, I don't know. To me, I'm like, I don't know.
So my thing is,
we're living in a really weird world where everybody
was my girlfriend wrong for sleeping with him when she saw that there was like sparks between us, even though I didn't say?
No, because there was no commitment made. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you slept on it, it's your loss.
Right. Which is why I'm like, well, she had him, so like that's now off limits to me.
I don't know. To me, it's like, this is where, once again, in dating, we gotta stop doing this like dancing in between the lines. Both sides need to be more assertive. Like, we need to get to a point where, both sides, men and women, we need to stop playing this game where we just can't come out and say, like, yo, I'm feeling it. Are you feeling me? Like, why can't we do that? Like, why do we have to dance around it? And then the next thing you know, like, you're missing your shot. You're like, oh man, I missed my shot. It's like, no shit, you didn't take it.
Right. So Drunk said he's gotten the Snapchat and then got the number a couple days later.
Well, that's good. And like I said,
you were validated. Maybe that was her screen. You know how you screen your calls? Maybe she was screening you through that.
But then again, do you have an active Snapchat? Like, were you posting something that maybe got her intrigued by it? That's the thing. It's like, if you have an active Snapchat, then yeah, that's fine. Like, if you're posting, you in the gym or you going out with the homie, your boys, and you doing this, you spot all that, you got an active Snapchat, then she's like, okay, you got an active social life. But if a guy who's just trying to get into dating, I would say stay away from that, because if you're not actively posting on there, she's gonna gauge you. She'll gauge you right off the bat, like your social profile.
So Ray says this all the time. Girls like helicopter men, a group of men that makes them feel special, but she'll never date them.
Yep, orbiters. Yep. And the only way, and the reason why these guys stand by is like, they kind of, in a sick way, they kind of know. And they're hoping that maybe one day when she breaks up with that guy, he could be the rebound guy because she's vulnerable. Right? And so he comes running at, oh, don't be that guy. You don't want to be that guy, man. That's why I'm saying, like, men and women really can't be friends. It's like, unless she's like a good wingman, right? And she's introducing you to other women. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. But other than that, you don't want to be giving her, don't get no free attention. Listen, they say no free booty, right? No free attention. Stop giving these women attention that they don't deserve.
So Drunk said, I've had this happen with a homie who liked the girl, but she liked me. So I asked him if it's okay for me to hit without you feeling away. And he was like, yeah. But basically he cut me off after it. Damn.
Trish said, going back to the whole getting catcalled and everything, he's like, go to a gay bar, Ray. You'll feel really special. Yep. I've done that. I have my best friend who's gay. He came down to DC and to visit me. He was like, listen, I want to go, he was like, I want to get laid tonight. I was like, all right, cool, buddy. You came to visit me. What do you want to do? Go to a gay bar. I was like, cool. I was glaringly, nobody hit on me, man. Nobody hit on me. And I was glaringly the straight guy in the gay bar. Yes, they could tell. So I went home solo. Right, I was like, well, call me in the morning. I was his DD for the night. That's what it was. So yeah, I went there, and a part of me was like, you know what? Maybe I'll find my equivalent. Like, maybe there's a woman who went with her lesbian friend, and they went there, and I'll start talking to her, and I'll it's just like, oh, how did you guys meet? Oh, we met at a gay bar. Ha ha ha. No, that didn't happen. No, I went home solo. So there you go, Tris. There you go. No, I didn't get it on. I don't know how it feels to get catcalled. Man,
Yeah,
you
the
guys are
cat calling.
pumping with
Some
the
people just
comments.
come on too strong with the cat calling, man.
I can imagine. Because somebody said that once. They were like, "Listen, you make it seem like if it's nonstop, you're gonna get annoyed with it after a while." And I'm like, "Yeah, I still don't know how that would feel though." I'm like, "Yeah, I hear you, but I don't know how that is. I can't fathom that." But I guess you know what it is, like, and maybe when it comes to like food, like you find a place and you're like, man, this place is awesome. And you keep eating there, keep eating there, keep eating there, right? But after a while, you're like tired of it. So I that's how I vision it. Like, oh, maybe it's like that. I don't know. I can't fathom it. Like I said, we live in two different worlds.
Drake said, if I don't get hit on at a gay bar, I'm gonna be low key pissed.
I kind of was. I was kind of feeling a certain type of way.
Like
I
damn.
wanted to be. Listen. I wanted to be the one to reject that night. I was like,
Right.
no, it's good. No. I'm flattered. Thank you. But no, you're not my type. Like I really lucky wanted to do that. I was like, maybe I get to reject somebody. And no, didn't happen. Didn't happen, man. Didn't happen.
Damn. I definitely I went to a gay bar in college with
and you got hit it on.
No, with some girlfriends. And my one girlfriend, she dances really well. So they were doing a dance competition and she was like nervous to go up. So I was like, fuck it, I'll go with you. So we both went up and I was the first one booed off stage.
Oh shit. No, man, you got booed off the stage.
I was like, I'm not going to a gay bar ever again because I feel like I might run into some of these people.
Oh damn. See, I didn't have that. I never got booed off stage. That's crazy. I was like, shit.
I didn't get booed off stage, but I didn't get like a strong enough clap to keep me on the stage, okay?
Yeah, I was just like, yo. Oh man, life stories, man. It's all good though. It's all good. Anywho, we broke that 2-hour mark. Thank you guys. We've been running with this.
I just looked up and noticed that the time has flown by.
It has flown by. We started talking about Kanye, went over to Timmy, and of course ended it with our always typical dating questions. I love it though. I love it because we see things differently. So the fact that we can help people out is I love it. I love doing the show. Like I said, I love doing the show. But today is Tuesday. Thursday is going to be our last
11 a.m. show.
Yeah, we haven't decided yet what time we're switching to, but I think we're going to switch more to afternoons.
Yeah, probably like 5
evenings, 5
like
or 6, somewhere around there. And hopefully, Lynn's optimistic. She's saying like maybe we'll get more viewers, we'll get more people tuning in with a later show, and get more what I'm looking for. What I'm saying.
But I mean, those of you who like this time works better for you, if you're seeing it and we're not live, go ahead and comment anyway, because we do get those notifications, and we'll definitely bring it up for like the next episode or on an upcoming episode. We'll still be able to interact with you guys the way we do. If you guys can switch over with us, that'll be amazing.
Yeah, much love. Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you so much for rocking with us. These last few months. Like I do the shout out all the time. Drunk, Tris, Fuzz,
Tadashi.
Yeah, Tadashi. Thank you guys so much for showing love. Always coming in, commenting. It's a blessing that I can sit here and talk to you guys, and you guys actually want to hear what we have to say. Like that alone is just awe-inspiring. And all I can say is, if any of you guys out here inspired to do this, I say do it. I'm doing it on my iPhone right now.
Yeah.
Do it. Just get out there and just start talking. It's going to be weird at first. I mean, there's still times when we have dead air where I'm like, oh, you got to fill in with something. And, it's always like pivoting and just getting your ideas right and all that. But those are the growing pains, right? Those are the things you got to do to get yourself to, just get your ideas out there. So if you inspire to do any of this, be whatever it may be, just movie reviews or whatever, do it. But other than that, thank you, Drunk. Thank you for the comments. Thank you guys. You guys definitely made a good one with your jokes and everything, just laughing and just talking about, everything that's going on in the world. Drunk said, as long as y'all still scheduling the shows ahead of time, I'll definitely still show up when I can. Thank you. Thank you so much for the love. It means a lot, man. And hopefully one day, like I said, I want to do a live show where I get to meet all you guys. We get, a couple of drinks and just have a good time because I really do feel like a lot of you guys, got just good vibes and good energy. And that's what we're trying to grow with the show. Like I really thought that, coming on here trying to be positive and just talk about things, I thought we were going to get a lot of trolls. And to this day, we have some people, and I think we turned some of them. But for the most part, like you guys been really good with that energy, and we want to keep that up.
Mm-hmm.
Possibly, get to a point where we could do like a live show and just, get to meet you guys, hang out with you guys.
All right, guys.
Thank you much for watching. You have anything else?
And we'll see you on Thursday.
Peace.